Yeah, I just kind of woke up and did all the video editing today. I was gonna do it yesterday, but I got lazy.
I totally understand.
Yeah.
I finished the rough mix already, so I'm just working on another song that I was working on right now.
Dope.
So
Hell yeah. Can you see me at all, by the way?
I can see two squares rotating around each other.
I don't understand why this is happening. Honestly, it's not that annoying to me if it's that not that annoying to you. Oh, I was gonna do
I
an
mean, it's your show.
yeah, that's what that's what you say. Um,
It is.
well
Quite
the
frankly,
um, I want us to do an introduction. Let's figure out how to do that. So welcome to the show. I'm here today writing a song with the wonderful the Musician.
that's me.
That's you. And I don't know. I feel like last time, like you asked me about like where I'm from and when I started doing music, but now I have to ask you about all that stuff.
I mean, that's fair. So I guess I don't know. Do you have any specific questions or?
Sure. How about where are you located?
I'm in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada.
Ooh, so same time zone but pretty far away, right?
I'm Mountain Time Zone
Oh,
actually,
Mountain
so it's
Time.
1:42 p.m. right now.
Oh, dope. Mm. Yeah, my sister was in Colorado, and that's that same time zone, but way to the south.
Yeah, ironically, it's about the same weather there.
Mm. Mm.
I don't know if that's ironic.
I
It's Alanis
wouldn't.
Morissette style ironic. I guess you could say.
Yeah, that's when it's ironic because it's ironic that you called it ironic without it being ironic. That makes it
Yeah,
ironic.
which I gotta say, it annoys me endlessly that so many people think that they're so. Oh yeah, I'm so smart for pointing out that what Alanis Morissette, who is a genius songwriter, that if you listen to any of her other songs, is wordplay after wordplay. Like she knows that those things aren't ironic. Like she fucking knows. You don't need to point it out. Like,
That's amazing.
but anyways, but yeah, as I guess just the rundown about me is that I've been doing music since I was. Oh fuck, that's a good question.
Yeah, right. That's what I did when you asked me.
Long short story, I've been kind of at this sort of thing since I was about 17 or so. I
Mm.
started taking it a lot more seriously when I realized that I could go to school for this, and then I've regretted going to school ever since because it did nothing for me. Oh no, that's not true. I know a lot. I assume that's how you notice me on the Discord, is by knowing a lot.
Yeah, and you were advertising your Twitch channel. And by the way, just in case anybody ever watches this, they should probably know that we met on Kenny Beats' Discord.
Yeah, I mean, if that's significant or whatever.
I don't
But
know.
I mean, for some people that means something, and then everybody else is like, Kenny who? So it's at least in my experience, anyways.
Yeah. No,
But
I don't know. Hmm?
sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you were telling me your life story or a
Oh yeah, yeah,
portion
yeah.
of it.
So yeah, I went to college for music, and then I tried doing the band thing for a long time.
Hmm.
I I mean, honestly, I know a lot about that sort of thing. I know how to make it work. The problem is either having enough money to just keep a steady cast of band members around so that as soon as one band member gets tired of your shit, then you can just whip in the next one. Um, it's true. It's
That's
honestly
amazing.
it's true. It is 100% true. You either need a group of people that are somehow bonded by the same knowledge that like Thanos and Tony Stark are bonded by, or and they're willing to each all kind of do their own parts and lend a hand. Like to me, I guess I always kind of point to like the Converge or the what's their names? Christian rock band that used to be really heavy, Thrice. They
Wait,
kind of
Thrice
do
is a
all the
Christian rock band?
oh fuck yeah, dude! Like they're devout as shit, man. Like Yeah, look into it. What's his face? The singer. All of his solo material is all like type worship type music, soft Christian rock.
What the fuck?
But I know, right? Honestly, all of that metal, like all of the best early 2000s metalcore, is like incredibly Jesus inspired.
Yeah, I honestly I really didn't know anything about metalcore until just recently, where like some people on this Facebook group I'm in for New York musicians were like, "Hey, we're looking for a guitar player," and I was like, "Sure, why the fuck not?" And then I tried to join up, but then as soon as we were about to have our first practice, the pandemic happened, and they were always like sending me "Bring Me the Horizon" songs to learn. So I started getting into them, and then like before then, I had no idea about anything metalcore related except for like Converge.
That's, let's put it this way. I got into heavy music through a combination of following historical heavy music. Like, you start on Led Zeppelin and then you go to Black Sabbath and then you go to Rush and then you go to et cetera, right?
Yeah.
Or with the simultaneous metalcore was the thing at the time. So it was like Unearth, Alexis on Fire, Every Time I Die was a little bit in there for me, but not so much. Like I got that into them a lot more recently. Like honestly, I guess some of the more metalcore-y shit that I'm into lately, I got into because it was like, oh, my taste adjacent at the time. And like those discoveries of like, wow, this reminds me of my youth, but I've never listened to it before. It's fresh. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
So that was all really cool.
I was really into like Disturbed and Rammstein, and Nightwish, and Buckethead for some reason.
Nightwish, fuck. I wish I had an angel. Like, fucking kill me now.
You not a fan?
Okay, let me put it like this. How all due respect, they're obviously good musicians. They obviously know what they're doing. They obviously have a lot of fans. I'm not here to particularly bash on that kind of thing, but everybody that I knew at the time that was really into that was also really like a huge fucking weeb.
Okay, that might be kind of accurate.
So there's that, and also it sounds weeby. Like how do you come up with a combination of two of the most intense and epic genres of all time and make it sound not intense or epic but only corny? You know?
It's like wave folding, if you know that effect. When it gets too distorted, it starts getting like undistorted again.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like when you take the harshest of harsh noise and just turn down the volume a little bit and it's ambient music.
Oh, totally. Like that's when I was in college, that was me and a buddy were going to start a band. That was kind of, I'm going to say, Deftones influenced, as it were.
Yeah, that's another band that I missed the first time around, and I just got into them because people kept being like, "Hey, if you want to be in this band, learn this Deftones song."
Yeah, and they're so fucking good. Like, I haven't liked their last couple records. We don't need to talk about that. But yeah, so we're going to start this like Deftones-esque type band, and I just had this idea because like Frank Delgado's in Deftones, and he does all sorts of music, concrete, and that sort of a thing.
Yeah.
And so the way that I was writing all the synth parts is I would record the whole demo, and then I would do some weird music concrete thing with it. Like one of the ones was what is his name? Alvin, what's his name? That did I Am Sitting in a Room. Similar to the one that yours.
Shit, I have no idea.
Doesn't matter. Look up "Sitting in a Room." So
I know
basically,
that one because I think Adam Neely did a video about it.
I think he did for sure. He must have. Like, there's no way you can.
Someone did a video about it.
I mean, of course, but yeah. So that was going to be the synthesizer in the band the whole time. Was going to be all sorts of weird, like just reprocessing the shit out of the songs. Yeah. And the one that I did the music concrete with, it was literally like I just played the song into the room and re-recorded it and played it in and re-recorded it so many fucking times that it sounded like glass now. as
Whoa.
opposed to this really it was just
Mm.
like it was so cool how it mixed in there and everything. And then I had to move back home and that band fizzled out, unfortunately.
Yeah. People moving around for college has destroyed a lot of good bands, or just moving
I
around
know,
because they
right?
have to move around.
I know, right? That's the way she goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my life.
Yeah, we were both music school kids. I went to music school and then I dropped out, and then I went to music school again, and then I dropped out again.
Did you go to like music school play, or music school like production, or what did
Play,
you
play,
do?
play. I played piano.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I
Not.
unfortunately went for the one thing that I is the easiest part to figure out, which is engineering. And
Mm.
again, I say that with a lot of arrogance because I know all of the stuff that goes into it. So now it's really easy for me.
Yeah.
I went there for that and didn't end up that good of a musician.
Mm.
So I've just been, compensating for that for years by being good at the other stuff. So
Yeah. There's a lot you can make up with like stretch markers or whatever they're called in Logic.
yeah, flex time. Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
Honestly, the biggest thing that music school, like production wise, like engineering and shit like that, has taught me is that the simpler it is, the more things that you can put in to make up for how bad that one single simple thing is.
Mm.
Right? Like you can take a non-sophisticated, like I think we were talking about this last time, where it's like the U2 edge technique, where he's just like, oh yeah, so instead of figuring out how to make all sorts of weird chord extensions, what I would do is I would play like the root and the octave in a fun way, and then on top of that, then I would just start trying to find another part that fit over it, and another
Mm.
part that fit over it, and another part that fit over it. And it turns out that I'm playing this weird like major minor ninth dad seven dominant flat
Yeah.
whatever the shit, but because each part is simple and you're layering it and you're layering it and you're layering it, and you understand all of the engineering aspects to those things, boom, now all your shit sounds great and you don't have to be that good.
Mm. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. I think that one thing I learned that was really important was just like ear training, and like how to get good at actually hearing what's going on and like predicting what something is going to sound like before you play it. I
Yeah.
think that was really important.
Did you learn that from, like, I guess I want to say, a musical perspective?
I don't exactly know what you mean by that, but like what I'm
Like
talking about is like I can like hear a chord and usually figure out what it is just by listening to it.
right.
And like that's like sure part of that is knowing the name, but really the skill with that is just like your brain processing incoming audio waves better or like more precisely. And like that's a trainable
Yeah.
skill. And like
Oh, totally. I guess from my perspective, I don't hear chords and music in that sense, but I hear sound in that sense, where it's like
yeah.
I can I cannot necessarily tell you that that snare is like a 14-inch diameter, 9-inch depth brass snare, but I can tell you that the crack is at 2500 hertz
Yeah.
or 2550, or like roughly in there, and all of the different constituent components of that snare sound. I can tell you, I can, like, basically it takes me like 2 minutes to EQ a snare the way that I need it to for that song. Whereas prior to all of the ear training that I've done, it would
Mm.
take like hours of, okay, let's try this frequency and hear how it sounds and do the whole mix, and oh, that's not quite right, and then you have to take it all back down and EQ it in a slightly different way. Now I'm at this point, it's just like, oh yeah, we need to do this with the snare, we need to do that with the guitar tone, we need to, it's more, I guess it's more tonal than
Yo,
it is
that shit is
musical for
so
me.
hard for me.
Really?
Yeah. Cause I didn't really like I did a lot of like like I took a film composing class where I would like really try to like write everything in a DAW and like mix it a little, but I never really like was trained in person to do mixing. I just learned that through like YouTube tutorials.
Yeah, and that's I do got to say again because we met in that Kenny Beats Discord. That's the biggest thing that I run into with helping people out. Like, because everybody asks like, "Oh, how do I mix my bass and my kick together?" And I always ask people like, "Okay, so what are the constituent components of your kick sound?"
Mm.
They're like, "What are you talking about?" Well, your kick has like the sound and the sound. Like that's a kick. So where are those two frequencies? And in your bass tone, again, it has the same thing where it's like down low, but not quite as low as the kick, and it has the and combined it goes ding 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 ding. It makes a bass tone, right? So understanding, for example, like if you're from your kick and your ding ding ding, your actual note value from your bass are, if they're right next to each other, you're going to have to make a small space in between on one of them, or decide that, oh, it's more important that the bass is delivering that note value, so I'm just going to bring it down in the kick, and now they're suddenly sitting together right.
Yeah. A lot of that is also just being able to like actually hear what's going on and not like listening on like Apple headphones.
Oh, 100%. I guess long short story, the argument that I'll make till the day that I die is that if you want to be a competent engineer, learn how to record a drum kit and learn how to record any drum kit for any situation. And once you can do that, then everything becomes really easy at that point. Because the thing about a drum kit is, here's the ultimate the audio engineer's philosophy question is, how many instruments is a drum kit?
I'm trying to think of, because I worked with this drummer. His band just put out a new album, by the way. It's fucking fantastic. I'm so jealous. But I worked with this drummer, and he would record his shit, and he had like 3 mics for the kick, 2 for the snare, 5 overheads, 4 tom mics, a hi-hat mic, a crash mic, and a splash mic. So that's
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it sounds really good just straight out the box. I couldn't get him to give me like a chart of exactly where all the mics are positioned because I wanted to figure out, you know, that thing where people will like add a certain amount of delay depending on like where the position is to make it time aligned properly.
Yeah, for all your phase, right?
Yeah, I wanted to figure that out using like the speed of sound and all that because I learned how to do that at community college. But
It's the 3-to-1 rule, dude.
the 3-to-1 rule?
Yeah. They never taught you the 3-to-1 rule?
What's the 3-to-1 rule?
Okay, so this microphone is a sound source, right?
Yeah.
So if it is, or no, my voice is the sound source.
Yeah.
Let's be realistic. So, fuck, that's not a good example. Okay, your snare is your source of sound in your drum kit,
Yeah.
correct? But you hit that snare and it goes into the room,
Yeah.
right? Now, that sound source will take a certain amount of time to get to the snare mic, and it will take a certain amount of time to get to the overheads. Now, if the distance from your... Basically, you want those overheads in terms of, like, let's say that snare mic is, like, 3 inches away from your snare for whatever reason.
Yeah.
You also want, like... You want them like 3 or 10, like divisible by 3 times the distance in order for them to be time aligned. I'm going to have to Google this because I'm going to have to read the actual formal definition because I'm confusing myself as well. 3, 2, 1 rule phase. The 3-to-1 rule says when a microphone is on a sound source, any additional microphones that pick up the same source should be at least 3 times the distance away from the sound source. This distance eliminates problems related to phase and comb filtering due to the significant drop in volume.
Okay, those all were words that made sense to me, and I understand how
So
you could apply that, but I don't understand why it would work. Because it seems to me like the volume is something that you're just gonna like increase in the DAW later if you want to. Like the final volume won't be
you're
different
cutting
than.
in and out a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is this better? Um,
You're back.
I'm back. I'm
You are.
I'm talking. I'm just seeing if you can hear me.
Yes. Yes, you can.
Dope. I think the internet just cut out for a second. It's been doing that. But I not to get too off topic, but I kind of get why that would work. Like I understand how you could apply that in an actual situation, but I don't really feel like I understand why that works if that makes any sense because it seems like the phase should be like a repeating pattern, right? It shouldn't depend on the total distance.
Well, I guess that's the next step of thinking about. I want to get for my streams a whiteboard so I can draw out diagrams and be like,
Oh
"Yo,
yeah.
check this out." But
Yeah.
I guess the main thing that you have to think about is it's not a sine wave with a continuous amplitude. It's a sine wave that is going to peak at the transient, and then it's going to get quieter and quieter and quieter.
Yeah.
Like over time. So whether that over time is because of a distance measurement or because it's a percussion instrument and it only hit for that one single transient, either way, that distance over time reduces the transient. And essentially if your transients are only this big, or like if your transients are only this big by the time it gets to that microphone, who cares? Because how could it possibly affect something that's this big when it's this big over here, right? So inside that major transient is where you have to worry about phase, but outside of that, it gets so small that
Okay.
any sort of phase issues would be there, but they're negligible to any sort of the sophisticated human hearing device.
Okay.
It's all in here. It's just not all in here the way that my textbook taught me.
Yeah, yeah. That's
I don't
legit.
remember my notes.
It's like me trying to explain what's something that I actually understand. How tuning works and why we don't use the harmonic series.
Honestly, if you could ever explain to me how a major minor chord works, you can go fuck right off.
Oh
That's
yeah,
amazing.
that's easy. It sounds like shit.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. Are you talking about like a major minor seven or like the just like a straight chord with a major third and a minor third? Hey,
So there are chords that are named like F sharp major minor seven or something like
yeah.
that.
Well, that's major third minor seventh. That's just a dominant seven. Same name for the different thing.
Oh fuck. See, this is I'm great at music theory. Let's put it that way.
Music. I don't know. Music theory is so weird because it's like people I think about music theory wrong, where they think about it as like a set of rules that you're supposed to follow during your actual like composition, but it's a set of rules you're only supposed to follow for exercises.
Or and this is what I tell people in the Discord all the time because they're like, "Oh, who knows where I can learn like basic music theory so I can start writing like hit songs?" And it's like, well, first of all, no. Second of all, the thing that you should be learning music theory for is for when you need to explain to somebody like, "Oh yeah, I played an A minor chord, but I played it with a weird voicing or whatever, just so you know. So there might be some weird like crunchy shit when you're trying to figure out what's going on
Yeah.
with that A minor chord in that moment." That's what music theory is for, is to give us a shared, like, if you're never going to jam with anybody, if nobody's ever going to rap on your beats or sing on your beats or if you are never going to do that, just fuck around
Yeah.
until it sounds good. That's it.
But
That's music
the
theory.
other thing I'll say is that music theory is useful for training your ears because you need to like if you're gonna try and like do like part writing where you're trying to avoid like parallel octaves and shit, you have to pay lots of attention to where the individual notes are and what they're actually doing. And it's really just that paying that intense attention and trying to judge things objectively that trains your ears. So it's useful for that, even though its main purpose is just communication.
Yeah, totally. Anyway.
Anyway. Let's write a song.
So, totally. So I guess and I've done a bit of a rough mix. We'll play the kind of the
you want to
how
work on
it's
the same?
started here.
You want to work on the same one we did last time?
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Is let's listen to it and either make a decision to go like, oh yeah, that's good. Let's kind of keep going with it and start coming up with an arrangement and doing more of this and that and the other thing, or let's go back to where we started last time and just start off on these drums again and start figuring it out from scratch. But I mean, we should listen to it again at least before we fucking nuke it, right? So I guess I'm just gonna hit play and see what happens, and we're gonna decide in 16 bars how we feel. And also keep in mind this is a very rough mix.
Dude, that's fine.
Watching in a car go by as I was walking. Oh, when I felt the call, I felt the call, I felt the calling, I felt the call. Oh.
Okay, my thoughts are I'm kind of getting that thing where you listen to your own voice on an answering machine and it sounds weird.
I get it.
But that's not objective because other people don't hear it like that. So I don't want to just be like, let's not do this because of that. But also those lyrics make zero sense.
Do they have to?
No. And it's cheesy as fuck.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. I guess the other thing too is if I mute the vocals here.
Sorry, I just made a bunch of crackling.
It's your show. Yeah. I'm kidding. Anyways, that's like I guess that's the vibes.
Yeah, that's pretty fun. It's a lot poppier than what I normally do. It's weird. I honestly just kind of want to keep working on it because it's so not me.
It's like I was saying to you last time. Like I listened to this drum part that I came up with. And so far, everybody's come up with some sort of like, because I've sent it to a few people, and everybody comes up with some like Radioheady, Porcupine Tree-esque type of thing. But when I hear this, I'm hearing some like serious rap rock vibes. Like,
oh yeah, I was kind of. I was thinking about this riff the other day that might actually work over those drums if you wanted to go into more of like a rap rock kind of vibe.
I mean, I'm always down with the nookie. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
No, I'm down with the sickness. Sorry, I'll do it all for the nookie. It's different.
I was also thinking of I was thinking of like if we did do that kind of rap rock sort of vibe, what if it was more like screamy and then like as it goes on at some point it like slows down and gets like a little bit sludgy.
Sludgy. I can like almost like Limp Bizkit into Korn.
I don't know. I was thinking some kind of like hardcore type of thing. I don't know. It's hard to describe. Let's just fucking do it.
Okay, well, I'm pretty down with that. I'm gonna delete everything that's in here right now.
Fuck yeah.
and not for any like particular feeling or anything like that, but just because it's pretty simple thing to put back together if necessary.
Yeah, and honestly, the other version of this was a lot of fun. So I maybe we'll feel like coming back to that again later, but we don't
Yeah,
have to.
it's all in the Dropbox folder that we got going.
Oh
So
yeah, I should open that shit.
yeah, and I'm actually gonna create a new folder in here. Can I?
Ooh, I should go get some water. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Oh, and I gotta tune my guitar. Shit.
Ooh, yeah, that's dirty.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Nice. Can you hear?
I can. So I guess the one thing that I'm imagining here, okay, well, first things first. What I've done here is I've done what is the industry standard, is I've given this a 2-bar count in essentially at the 80 BPMs. So
Okay.
if from now on, if we can send stems that just simply bounce out at the start of that 2-bar count in, like at 0 time,
Okay,
so
that
that
makes
it's just
a lot of sense.
pop it in. That's industry standard, and I fucking forgot about it because I was just like, oh, this is just pretty chill, man. And then it was kind of confusing a couple of times, and I was like, oh, this fuck, that's why it's the industry standard. Anyways, the other thing that I'm kind of in my head imagining is this 808 that I have in here is less a it's more of a I hear it as more of a sub frequency with a little bit of dirt on it, as opposed to a significant, like, that's the baseline, because I intend on mixing it kind of really low in there just to add that feel with a little bit of a rhythmic edge to it,
Okay.
as it were.
I'll let you know
So,
if I
and
hear it
what
the
I've
same
also
way.
done is the
I might hear that
Sorry,
as
go
an
ahead.
instrument, and if that's the case, I'm probably gonna try and like play in key with it, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, for sure. And the I mean, I don't even think you can you tell that it's a
I hear like a filter frequency, like I think if there's like a resonant filter on that, I hear that as the frequency.
yeah. That's I just did a Kurt Ballou trick and put on a crazy distorted. It's a guitar amp.
Nice. It sounds
Yeah,
like
I love that trick.
it sounds like a basketball.
It does, but I think and also what I've done, and this is in no way an arrangement choice, but simply the loop itself, the drum pattern itself is 16 bars, and I've bounced it out in a repetition of 4 times. So if it's time to move on to the next drum pattern or something like that, then we can make that decision later. But as of right now, here's a good loop to like fuck around on. Right?
Let's do this is just an idea, but what if can you do gradual tempo changes?
Yeah.
Can you do like a gradual slowdown after that 4 16-bar loops for the next ones?
Yeah.
And that's when it's gonna
How
get like really
much
low
slower?
and chuggy.
I guess would we want to do that via tempo or via groove?
Via tempo or via what?
Via groove.
Tempo. I specifically meant tempo. I guess
Right.
you could do that with just like changing the groove, but I don't know. I like tempos that aren't like so completely constant all the time. I feel like it kind of makes stuff more repetitive when there's no like subtle tempo changes that you get if like a musician is playing something by themselves. They always have like some kind of subtle tempo changes. And I feel like it just helps break up the repetition. But that's kind of my thing. No one else is really doing that.
I mean, honestly, that's totally fair. I've always been of the real people should sound like they're playing it, but also you listen to a lot of music and real people definitely do play it, but it's still edited to shit. And it's like, oh, just with like a little bit of humanization or a little bit of like every once in a while making a decision to not move that snare over a microsecond is really, to me, like it does just as much. But I guess it depends on how, like, let's see how it executes before we
Yeah, but the other thing is, like, a lot of like trap music, for instance, it's supposed to sound kind of robotic, and that makes it sound sort of futuristic. So it's definitely a style thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I guess, yeah. You know what? That's my thesis statement in this in this sort of question of what makes things human. And I think the thing that makes things human sounding is when decisions are made. Because I don't think that it's a decision to simply make a 4 or 8 bar pattern and then loop it, unless that's the thing that makes it sound good. Like I have this one song that I did with rapper, and the let me just check something here. Perfect. The guitar part that I played for like starting on the second verse and everything like that, it's when I loop it, the next time it loops around, it's a little bit out of time, and then the next time it loops around, it's a little bit more out of time. And then what I did instead of fixing it is I kept that because her next verse comes in right after that, and then I just cut out the guitar part and then put it back on time. So it kind of has this, like you said, that push pull, like that was a decision as opposed to simply like making that loop perfect and then boom, loop it. Like now it's not a song. There is no variations as it goes along. Long short story, decisions is what makes art. Anyways, in the Dropbox folder are those drums.
Fucking Dropbox folder.
And let me see what I can do about fucking with the tempo here. How much slower are you thinking?
I don't know. Normally I do tap tempos. Like I'll do a tap tempo at like the start of like a phrase where I want it to be, and then I'll do a tap tempo at the end of it.
Right.
But let's just say just for now, let's say 20 BPM less. Gradual transition to 20 BPM less. Or no, 10 BPM, because we're doing this. I was thinking about it like it was 160 going to 140, but it's 80 going to 60, so 10 less. Version 2.0.
Okay, let's hear what that sounds like. Okay, so at the end of this, it's gonna start gradually slowing down. Sorry?
I didn't notice that much. I think we could get away with being more aggressive with that.
Let me just... Because it hasn't even slowed down all the way to 70.
Oh, duh. Okay.
So... I'm gonna try something different here.
Why is download hidden in the menu?
Oh, because apparently that's better. Okay, let's So that's fully slowed down there. I guess I'm just hearing like I think a groove change would be better. Because I'm kind of getting what you're talking about with the sludgy quality. Like you kind of want that swamp feel, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let me while you're messing around with whatever bass part. Sorry, go ahead.
And like if I can do, I'm not really good at it, but if I can do some gutturals on that would be sick.
Of course.
Like the sludgy part.
I'm not gonna stop you, but I guess long short. While you're working on that, your little bass part here for the main riff, as it were, we'll call it main riff. I'm going to see about messing around because we want. Let me think about this, but I think I've got a reasonable idea.
Okay. I'm gonna. Huh? Oh, sorry. I'm getting echo. I thought you were talking. I'm gonna hang up for a second.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
That's fucking weird.
I have no idea what happened.
Technology's supposed to make my life easier, and yet here we are.
Yeah. I think part of it is that my internet is really bad right now for some reason.
It's definitely not my and here's the thing: is it's definitely not my internet because I how to describe it? I do this dad thing where whenever it's time for like a new phone plan or a new this or that or whatever, I'm the weird dad that's like totally willing to spend like 6 hours on the phone to be like, no, I've been a customer of yours for X number of years, and you're either going to give me exactly the deal I want or I'm going to move on. And you know, it takes a while, but you usually get the deal. And so I'm sneaking on like some of the best internet here, but it's literally everything else all the time. Fucking annoying is what it is.
Yeah, I need to buy some new tech to enable this stuff, like a new, less garbage laptop. I love this laptop, so please don't break on me just because I made fun of you.
Oh, I get it.
Like better cables that aren't as noisy. And I don't know. It's just hard for me to buy shit even if I know that I need it.
Oh, I can dig it. I can totally dig it. And are these tracks in stereo or mono?
Oh, they're all stereo. I actually mic'd up I literally threw the 57 in the back of the Boss Katana.
Gotcha.
And the other one's a room mic. So the one that's louder, I think it's to the right, is if you want to just use like the mic'd up amp, that's that, and then the room mic is actually the one I'm speaking in right now.
Gotcha. Okay. And they're all synced up perfect. Yeah, good. See how it all sounds together. I'm probably gonna
that first riff. The first riff. I just kind of repeated it a bunch of times with a bunch of little variations. We're probably not gonna use all that, but we have all the variations if we want them.
We'll see what happens. I'm just literally playing them all at once right now. So, can you resend these all as mono files? So it'd be 6 monos.
Yeah, sure. Do you want each channel independently or?
Yeah, basically. And also they're all like really quiet.
Oh yeah, I didn't think that would be a problem. I don't really know why
I can figure it out, but it'll be easier if they're like, I'd say
I'll
like 30% louder.
I'll just boost the gain by 60 dB.
Yeah, there you go. That'll do. Healthy gain staging here. You ever watch Walking Dead?
No. I know a bunch.
First of all, sorry, go ahead.
I know a bunch of people in the Magic the Gathering community are getting really upset about the Walking Dead crossover. I don't know if they still are, but that's the thing that was going on with that recently.
There's a Dungeons and Dragons Walking Dead crossover? Or Magic the Gathering, I should say?
In Walking Dead crossover. And like people are freaking out about it because they're only going to print it for a week, and they're making it legal in regular like tournaments, so it might end up being really expensive cards that you need if you want to be a tournament player. So that's why people are like messed up about it.
They're not actually that mad, they're just mad.
People are mad. How do I do this?
I also might be able to import them as split files, but I just gotta...
Yeah, right now what I'm trying to do is figure out how to explode them into mono files, which I know you can do, but I don't remember how. Time to open the action menu.
Yes.
But what were you going to say about Walking Dead?
Oh, it was a really great show, and there was a bit in there that reminded me of Barry McCreary composition.
Man, I'm glad that I installed all these Reaper extensions without knowing exactly what they did, because it turns out I needed them.
Oh, yeah. always gonna come in handy. Shit like that. This is one thing about Logic that's fucking annoying. I wish there was this. I'm just reading this forum post from 7 years ago. I wish there was a split stereo tracks into 2 mono tracks function. Yeah, me too.
Hey, if you switch to Reaper, then you can do it. And all you need to do is install a script.
So it's just as complicated.
Probably. That'd be cool. Actually, work on that for a little bit. I actually know an artist who might appreciate this instrumental. If we make an instrumental.
Sick.
I was actually supposed to go down to Brooklyn to record with her, but then COVID happened.
Yup. Oh, it did. Regions, new audio file. What to interleaved? Interleaved split. Replace it. I got it.
It's uploading the mono stems to the Dropbox right now. It's been saying
Sick.
1 minute
Well,
for the last 5 minutes.
I got it.
Okay.
There we go. Oh yeah, that's what I want. Like that. We're gonna go audio. Convert regions to new audio files. Interleave to split. Save. Oh, God, it's.
Oh, what do you think of the weird effects on the guitar, by the way?
What do I think of them?
Yeah.
I think they're fine.
Yeah, I made that patch to use on a song I'm working on right now.
No! No, that's not what I said to do. How do you unlink them?
I know that feeling.
Oh. It is what it is, I guess. Hey, we're gonna start making some progress on this fucking soon, I'm sure.
I'm already making progress in my mind. I had this idea while I was driving somewhere recently, but I want to do some like low chugs in like the slowing down part where I detune my second string, which is currently a G, to about being like an F sharp, so instead of a power chord, it's a tritone.
Right.
And like, not like I detune it before I play some notes, I mean like I detune it while I play the open power chord as like a chug.
It's a little crazy, don't you think?
It sounds fun. Especially for like, if it's like slowing down and getting like really intense and metal.
That's the thing about stuff like that is sometimes it gets hard to manage, you know?
Not really. I just do it. And then I think normal shit is hard to manage too, so.
Which is totally fair. I definitely like the first. Sounded pretty cool so far.
Do you mind if I dip out for just a second to record a couple more random noodles?
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
And then can you send me the time shifted version if you want to do that, or I could do that and show you.
Oh, because actually, let's discuss before we start committing to some things here.
Yeah.
Basically what I've got right now is I kind of grooved it down into a bit of a.
You're coming in really spotty, by the way, so I can't really judge this based on that.
I'm coming in really spotty?
Yeah, it's just Discord processing shit. That's not people.
Oh, okay. Okay, so then what I'll do, because I guess what I have right now is I'll bounce out these drums, because I have basically verse, chorus, and I did like I grooved down the slow bit.
Yeah.
Or I grooved down the chorus, so it kind of almost stops, but I like it because it gives us a lot of space to like really fill in the space with like a ton of fucking crazy shit, right?
Okay, that's cool.